Hello, my name is Josephine and today I'm going to discuss the group project that have been completed by me, Ilse, Rebecca and Sarah in relation to Eva Braus knowledge processes. The first question then is, what are these knowledge processes? Eva Braus presents these processes that are important for any organization that wants to work with knowledge management. There are 5 main processes which are called Managed Knowledge Process, Knowledge Planning, Knowledge Gain, knowledge refinement, and knowledge sharing. I will now go through each of these processes and explain how they connect to the project work our group has done, after which I will discuss what I have learned from taking this course and how I will be able to use what I have learned in the future. Managed knowledge process explains how an organization or for us as a group should work with other processes. There needs to be a knowledge vision, something that the group aims to achieve. For us, this was decided by the course requirements. Since we all want to learn enough to pass the course, we did not discuss this explicitly, but it was understood by all. There's also knowledge resources within the group to take into account. One of the first assignments was to do a competency mapping, something that helped us to lay out exactly what knowledge we had to work within the group. There was little technical requirements since we all have computers, so these factors were sufficient to enable us to work with knowledge management within our group. Knowledge planning is essential to understand what knowledge we have and decide how we're going to use it. The competency mapping and the course plan helped us to understand what knowledge we have and what knowledge we will need in order to meet our goals. Everyone could read the competency mappings we have done, but we also talked and discussed a lot who was good at what, so the best managed the knowledge we have and what we will need to improve for the future. It was clear that while we somewhat understood what knowledge management was, they were all missing the detailed knowledge that comes from studying a subject. To be able to answer the theoretical questions, we plan out what will come from literature and what will come from doing the project itself. Since there is a difference between knowing what something is and how to use it. Since the assignment was to write a report, there were also a practical knowledge that we needed to take into consideration. We had to make sure that we had knowledge to correctly format the document itself and handle sources and presentation. Everyone in the group had some experience in working with computers, so for the practical work there was not much knowledge we needed to gain into the future. Knowledge gain is how we should gain the knowledge we identify to be missing in the planning phase. With this being a course, there are certain factors that determine how knowledge will be gained. The theoretical knowledge will come from lectures and literature, and the practical knowledge will come from doing the project work. There is also the opportunity to learn from your group members if they understand something that you don't. This was something that was made very formal in the group since we all had a reading schedule that everyone had to follow. This was so that everyone would keep up with the course and be an effective member for the group. As mentioned earlier, we identified that the K concept were somewhat known by the group members. We did not have the detailed knowledge or how to properly use them. To gain the detailed knowledge of the required key concept of knowledge management, we decided to use the literature and the lecture since this was a theoretical aspect on how to use them. We realized that this was the knowledge the group project was supposed to give us. By working together, we get the practical experience with managing knowledge within the group, and we also learn by observing a company from the real world. This mix of practice and theory was an effective tool for us to gain knowledge prior to the group assignment. Knowledge refinement is making knowledge more valuable. This process flows through our entire group work and has affected us greatly. From the beginning, we knew how important it is to articulate the knowledge of both the group and us as a group members. By always discussing who should do what based on who will do it best, we always reflect upon the knowledge in the group as a group. We also did this as individuals, as we before meetings would think of who we would suggest should do something, or if we felt we should do something in particular. This is what made our knowledge the property of everyone in the group. Knowledge sharing is how we share the knowledge between the members of the group. While we have canvas to work with for our group, this was mainly done by discussing it. We also use the so-called WhatsApp application to communicate with each other, which can be considered a form of knowledge sharing. In conclusion, regarding even vast knowledge processes, I think they fit very well on how we have completed this group project. While we have not done what we have done with them in mind, we still describe the process very well. This is something that correlates well with our findings for the project work, where the company we examined did not have the explicitly stated processes based on knowledge management, but still work with it, the same as us. This is something I feel lends strength to the subject of knowledge management as a something descriptive of reality. On this subject, I will now move over to the second part of this presentation, where I will discuss what I have gained from this course and how it can be used for me in the future. I will start with a brief summary of the assignment I have been given in this course to serve as a base structure of my reflections. There have been 2 assignments focused on understanding and explaining words and terms related to the subject of knowledge management. They were very good at encouraging students to think about and understand the subject, as they also had a discussion element where we shared our thoughts. This really helped to create a foundation in the early parts of the course and served to make us more familiar with the subject. The second assignment were all related to the group project. As mentioned, we did a competency mapping of our project group, which will prepare us for the main project where we will find a company and discuss how they will work with knowledge management. Both of these were more hands-on assignments that gave us a practical experience on how to work with knowledge management. When I think back on the more theoretical assignments and what they have taught me, some things become clear. What I like is how they challenge us to really think about the meaning of the common words such as knowledge, information, data, experience, competency, and creativity. These are words we use more or less in everyday conversation, especially at university, but when faced with explaining them, I felt stumped. This was a very interesting experience, as it shows how we can use a word very often without fully understanding it. It was also very interesting to see how other students had interpreted the words, how opinions differ, and where everyone basically agreed. This on the whole contributed to a fun and exciting learning experience. The practical assignments that were done together with the group complemented the theoretical ones well, as they made us learn by examining how knowledge management is used in the real world. As previously mentioned, I found that much like with our group, companies work with knowledge management mostly without knowing that they do. Although they were still aware of the fact that knowledge has to be managed. It was interesting to learn and see what practical solutions can be made in order to transform theory into practice. To conclude what I will take away from this course, I must firstly mention a more general sense of questioning if I truly understand the meaning of something, or if I just use it. To put this in the context of knowledge management, understanding terms such as creativity and experience greatly helps in how to best manage these elements. How do we make sure that attributes that can be used to gain an advantage are not lost within the organization? I have also learned to think about transformation that takes place with data, information and knowledge, and how to best manage this, and that there are different kinds of knowledge. I will also gain valuable tips on how to do this in practice from a group project. Learning how a real company works with knowledge management put the subject into context that made it easier to understand. This has made it clearer for me how knowledge management can and should be worked with both in a company or in a group project in school. Rounding this presentation off, I would like to say thank you for a rewarding and fun course that I will have much use for in the future, and thank you for listening.